What's up, family? In today's video, we're going to be working on opening up our hip flexors. The hip flexor is the muscle that's responsible for you actually lifting up your knees. So every time you walk, every time you run, the first thing that engages is the hip flexor, and everything else follows that movement. So we're going to work specifically through the lunge, because the lunge is what's going to directly engage the hip flexor, okay? So starting out, we're just going to start with the lunge, right? A regular freaking lunge. Why not? I'll show you from the side because we want to do this one a little bit different. Now, typically with our lunges, it looks like this. That back knee is on the ground behind us, and our knee is stacked above our big toe. But the way we're working it today, in order to engage the hip flexor, is we're gonna push our knee in front of our big toe while keeping the heel flat on the ground, just like this. You'll feel a couple of things in this movement. Number one, you're gonna feel that hip flexor open up on your opposite side. Now, on this front leg side, you're gonna feel a few things. You'll feel your Achilles begin to release. The Achilles is where basketball players pop a whole lot. So it's great that we're giving it the stretch and release that it needs. We're also gonna feel the front of our ankle, right above our foot. We're gonna feel that begin to loosen up and release as well. We're taught whenever we squat or lunge to keep the knee over the toe. But if the knee is over the toe, then how are we gonna stretch the hip flexor? When you go up a flight of steps, the knees are always in front of the toes. So we're practicing it here, and we're gonna come on back, and just like so. If we wanna work with this movement by modifying it, by progressing it, we can always just stand up and come back down, just like so, all right? So that is our regular lunge into a hip flexor stretch. Now the next one that we're gonna work with is we're gonna work with the high plank with a step up. So I'll show you and then I'll explain it. We're gonna come up like we're doing a push-up, hands underneath our shoulders, just like so. And we're just gonna step a leg up, boom, outside of the hands, okay? We'll feel that stretch in our groin, but then when we drop that back knee to the ground, it'll lengthen our hip flexor and our quad muscle on that opposite side, okay? We're gonna bring that leg back, boom, switch sides, just like so. Okay. If you're feeling crazy, or if you're feeling like you want to really get a workout in with your mobility, you can just kind of hop it, so like this, boom, keeping it wide leg. I highly recommend that if that's the way that you're going to do it, make sure that you're loose prior to, because we don't want to pull anything in our groin, in our hamstring, and most importantly in our hip flexor. So that is our high plank with the knee drive working on the hip flexor. Last but not least is my favorite personally. We're gonna do a back roll. So this back roll, we're gonna roll every single vertebrae of our back, and we'll then come into our half kneeling lunge position. Check me out. We're rolling back, rolling forward, bending one leg so that we're coming up kind of like a pigeon stretch. Boom. Into the lunge. Make sure you come nice up and erect. You'll feel the stretch in the hip flexor. Notice my front leg is pointed forward, back leg is pointed to the side, okay? We are directly opening up the groin and hip flexor with this movement. Pull the hips back to reverse back down to the ground. We'll switch sides. Hold this back leg pointed toward the camera. Come on up. Open up the hip flexor on the other side. Pull the hips back. Boom. And then you'll just find a flow state with this one. Once you find that flow state, knock it out for about 60 to 90 seconds. Okay? If we want to progress it, we can stand up. Boom. And bring it right back down. Just like so. And back up. And back down. How are you? So those are our three movements that are gonna open up our hip flexors. Remember, the hip flexors are responsible every single time you take a step, right? Everything is gonna follow your hip flexors. We have to strengthen them because we hurt them every time we're seated for long periods of time, okay? Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.